Okay, so obviously I wasn't as excited for Raw as I was for SmackDown because SmackDown I went to live and it was an incredible show. Raw was still in my home province, though not in my city. It's in Quebec City. Let's see what I thought of it. These are my assorted thoughts on the August 11th, 2025 WWE RAW. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Recording this Thursday, August 14th. It's around 3:30 in the afternoon. Now, going into this Raw, the one thing I was thinking was like we had an amazing show on SmackDown with a great main event ended in a DQ, but it was an impromptu match. This one had a scheduled main event that looked really great on paper. Of course, it's not going to be that great if it doesn't happen. First of all, if Naomi really is injured, get well soon. Terrible time for an injury. If Naomi, according to some rumors, is pregnant, congratulations to her and Jimmy Uso. Still not the best timing storyline wise, but you got to do that when you want to do that. That's nature. Regardless, though, it was unfortunate for the audience that we didn't get that main event. But the replacement match, the make good match of Iyo Sky, instead taking on Roxanne Perez, was a hell of a match. This was the standout match of the night. It didn't go on in the main event spot. Roxanne looked great. Iyo looked great. Just their comebacks and their breaking out of submission holds. Both of them had personality. It's not like a smaller wrestler with a bigger wrestler. They're both roughly the same size. So, it was a really fun match to watch, just like Iyo Sky and Liv Morgan. Actually, Iyo and anyone's really good, and Roxanne can be really good. So I was very happy with it. And we got a legitimate victory from Roxanne, which is a bit of an upset. Iyo has won a bunch this year, so it's not like they're burying her or anything. And they also showed the cause of it. It was the distraction by the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, who were trying to help her, and it backfired. But it looks like we might be getting Iyo versus Asuka. I'm there for that. They kind of hinted that we might be getting a tag team of Iyo and Rhea versus the Kabuki Warriors. I would love to see that, and I'd love to see Iyo and Rhea be a tag team, maybe go for the championship. So I think they set stuff up a little bit quicker than they would have if they had the regular main event. Maybe they pushed things up a week because of that. But if that's where we're going with Iyo, I'm here for it. Iyo and Asuka's got. I think we've all been wanting to see that match for years, and that's gonna cook. Let's talk about what became the main event, which I think would have ended the same way regardless, but it wouldn't have been on last. So yes, it was another DQ finish with big stars, an impromptu match. And I think that would have still happened, but it would have happened earlier in the show if the main event hadn't been changed. But it made sense to put it on last here. The setup, though, was CM Punk, LA Knight promo exchange. That was really LA Knight's time to show that he could hang with someone like CM Punk on the mic. He's obviously shone on the mic before, but not usually with somebody with a promo artist of that caliber, the best in the world on the mic. Yeah. And I think LA Knight held his own. It was babyface versus babyface, so he couldn't get too bitter, but the characters really came across. I think this is LA Knight's next push on the main roster. I don't think he's going to win at Clash in Paris, by the way, in the Fatal 4-Way match. Either him or Jey Uso is probably taking the pin. But this match could possibly put him on a trajectory where he might become World Heavyweight Champion. After their promo, we had Paul Heyman come out. I love it. Mesdames et messieurs. He should have gone the extra mile and said, Mon nom est Paul Heyman, but insulting the crowd for speaking French, that just a great way to get heat in Quebec City. And I also love the little bit of Steiner math we got. It was Braun Breaker. You're like 40. You're like 47. Together, you got to be like 100. Steiner math. Excellent. Fun little bit. I like Braun Breaker's new character bits where he's just sort of, talking, not even on the mic. He's just sort of like heckling people. Braun Breaker, the heckler, that's funny. I like it. Him and Bronson Reed. I really think him and Bronson Reed should not remain a tag team, but should maybe go for the tag team championships. That will definitely up that tag team division. Plus, the Vision, as they're calling it, would have the Oracle, the World Heavyweight Champion, and the World Tag Team Champions all under one roof, so to speak. So that'll make them even more of a dominant faction. As for the actual match, of course, it was a DQ. Of course, it set up the Fatal 4-Way. I think there was some talk that Roman Reigns might have been in that, but, Jey Uso, I think Roman's taken some time off. Jey Uso's going to be in it. Great. And Bronson Reed with the Shula foul. I think Roman's going to actually come back and challenge him for his shoes. And I think they can make that work. I like how he just has a collection of shoes. Maybe he's going to take Punk's shoes next. Maybe Jey Uso's. I'm wondering if when they're getting the sponsorship of the shoes, they're like, we'll charge you a little bit extra, and Bronson Reed's going to steal these and make them part of the Shula Fala. But it's cheesy, but I like it. And like I said, it was a good replacement main event, but though the make good match with Roxanne and Iyo was even better. It's no secret that I'm a huge Sami Zayn fan. So is everyone in Montreal, most of the audience in Quebec City, or most of the audience in Montreal. Actually, I can't speak for absolutely everyone, but yeah, I loved seeing him sort of in an impromptu addition to SmackDown. It was clearly just to get him on the show twice, I thought. But you know what? Maybe they're actually moving him to SmackDown, because his match here with Rusev was a really good match, really exciting match, and it looked like he was going to win. It was important to get a win against somebody else. It was actually a match the crowd was into. A monster heel like Rusev is perfect to fight someone like Sami Zayn, the fight from underneath babyface. But I'm not upset that it ended in a disqualification, because we did get the good match, but also it looks like they're actually going to put Sami, I think, and it wasn't just superfluous having him beat Solo Sikoa. He's now pinned the United States champion, and I think he's going to go to SmackDown and fight Solo, maybe even win the championship. Ultimately, his goal is the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think ultimately he is going to be back on Raw, but I think he's going for that sometime around WrestleMania. And the fact that he didn't win this match with Rusev, I don't want him in this fatal four-way match, because I know he's not going to win the championship. He's going to win it probably like after the Rumble, or most likely winning the Rumble, maybe Elimination Chamber, and then winning at WrestleMania. That's when I think he's going to cash in. But until then, there's really not much he can do on Raw unless he's going for that championship. So yeah, switch him to SmackDown for a bit. And maybe the fact that LA Knight is now unofficially on Raw, maybe the trade-off is Sami Zayn's going to be unofficially on SmackDown, fighting Solo. I didn't see it. Maybe Jacob Fatu is going to go on to something else, and we might actually get Sami versus Solo for the United States Championship. And I don't know if Sami, he's won the Intercontinental a few times. Has he ever won United States? Kevin Owens has. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. But you know what? I like this development for Sami. I do hope he ends up back on Raw and wins the World Heavyweight Championship. But him on SmackDown temporarily, maybe as U.S. champion, really works for me. Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship was way better than I thought it would be. I thought it would maybe be fun, but no, it was. I knew that, because especially seeing as the title was on the line, that Maxine Dupree wasn't going to win. But I kept thinking a few times, you know what? Maybe they're going to pull a fast one. Maybe they're going to give her this championship. I mean, I think ultimately they're setting up with Becky versus Natalia, and then eventually Becky versus Nikki Bella at Clash in Paris. They don't have much time to get to that, but well, let's speed it up there. But I think Maxine has improved. She didn't try to do the worm. She might, or the caterpillar, whatever they call it. She might still do that in future matches, but this match was serious. She did at some point try to get a sharpshooter on, but I think Natalia just looked at her like, no. But that was Becky Lynch is really good at being the heel and getting people to sympathize with her opponent. Sympathizing with people sympathized with Lyra. People definitely sympathize with Maxine Dupree of all people. So yeah, I was pleased with that match. Let's talk about Bayley. It's obviously teasing a heel turn. I think we heard a little ding dong at the end of that video promo, but it was a really heartfelt, earnest promo, and it would actually justify the heel turn. Becky thinks it was her. Bayley thinks it was her fault. So they're definitely, maybe it's like a redemption arc or a heel arc, something. It's a new arc for Bayley, which makes all this, her missing WrestleMania and all that, it gives something to her character, might make her come back even stronger, because her championship reign, even though it was a great story leading up to it, and the match where she won it was great, it wasn't really the best reign last year. So, and since then she's been kind of flailing. So hopefully this is a turning over a new leaf for one of the horsewomen, for Bayley. And Lyra, she's probably going to have a feud with Bayley, especially if Bayley goes uber heel. Then that would make Lyra probably even more sympathetic. And then hopefully she'll have another match after that, maybe for a different championship at some point in the future. Or maybe Becky will lose it and she'll get the IC title again. Dirty Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano, the Ludwig Kaiser version, who I saw squashed by Sami Zayn in the dark match on Friday, versus Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. It was fun. We had the bit with Dom putting on the mask and putting the little head plate in there, like after El Grande dropped it. Mainly, of course, this was to set up two things, I think, to continue the setup, AJ Styles versus Dom in Paris. And maybe Dom will actually lose the Intercontinental title, but I think he might win the AAA Mega Championship. I think that would be great if he was a champion, the top champion in the whole other company. Or maybe he keeps the Intercontinental title at the same time, too. I hope they don't like merge it. I hope they keep AAA as its own thing, even though there are WWE stars. But it's not like TNA where the NXT, WWE talent can have the championship. It's outright owned by WWE. So I may actually watch Triple Mania if I find it on YouTube, because I'm interested in especially some of the stars they're putting in. And they only had one El Grande Americana. Where were the other two? If they bring in a third one, I think it should be a fourth one now, or a fifth one, El Grande. I think it should be Omos playing El Grande Americano. That would be, because everyone would know it's Omos. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, it was a fun match at the beginning of the show. And these were my assorted thoughts on the August 11th, 2025 WWE RAW from Centre Videotron in Quebec City. Obviously, I know I'm a little biased. I think our SmackDown in Montreal was a better show. Usually Raw is the better show, but I think this SmackDown was a better show because this had big stars. That had, I think, even bigger stars, but they had this top stars on Raw, but it lacked that main event match that they should have had. I think that episode might have been even better if we actually had that Naomi title defense. And I'm also wondering, hopefully Naomi, I don't know what they're going to do with Stephanie Vaquer. Maybe it'll be a fatal four-way or a battle royal for the championship, which she'll be in if Naomi does have to give up the championship. Also, maybe it's possible the Naomi thing is a work, but I don't think they would, advertise a match just to pull it. Although the arrangement of the show, it seemed like the way they did the show, it seemed like that the Punk match, whatever the DQ impromptu match, was meant to be the main event. I'm seriously hoping they didn't cancel the Naomi Iyo Sky to make that the main event. But so that's why I don't think this one's a work. And again, all the best to Naomi. Either congratulations if you are pregnant, or get well soon if you're injured. Do you agree with my take on Raw on this particular episode? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Also on Bluesky, jasoncmclean.bsky.social. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos, and assorted thoughts on SmackDown and Raw. Now, I'm going to see how my timing goes. I recorded it like a couple of weeks ago, my review of Evolution, which I thought was the best WWE Premium Live event to date in 2025. And then after SummerSlam, I actually recorded a review of both nights of SummerSlam. I just have to edit those and put all the images on. It's a lot simpler to do it for a video like this. So I am going to get those out. They're going to come out kind of late, but it's not. I recorded those within the appropriate time, which is why I'd honestly love to hire an editor. So I'm going to get that Patreon going soon, but look for those in the future. Also be back with my assorted thoughts on SmackDown. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.